Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Well, as energy prices continue to rise, more and more businesses are turning to greener energy sources. As a result, one Southeast company has experienced a surge in demand for their renewable energy products. Owen Power is the co-founder of Enerpower, and he joins us now to discuss the grant options which are available to business owners to install renewable energy products. Owen, we'll be discussing your business, which you co-founded with your brother Cormac, but first, I'd like to get an insight into your own background.
Thanks, Carl. Delighted to be here. I started off my working life as an engineer working for an air conditioning company in Dublin. I worked there working on designing air conditioning units. We put air conditioning units into the Intel fabs when they were being constructed back in the late 80s, early 90s. From there, then, I would have worked in Germany and France. And then I came back to Ireland to complete a degree and a master's in university in Galway. After qualifying there, I started to work in the electronics industry for a number of years, making computer modules for using surface mount technology. Then I left Galway and moved down to Cork. I moved to a company called Banta Global Turnkey, who operated beside Apple in Cork and provided manufacturing services for Apple. Basically, I was an operations and general manager down there. Then I left there and went down to a company in Wexford called Medentech. They made water purification tablets. I went down there as GM. While in my time in Medentech, I decided that I've been working for other people now for a number of years and I'd like to try something myself. So my brother at the time, Cormac, was working in Finland and had been working in Finland for 15 years on district heating systems in Scandinavia and a lot of Europe. You have these centralized heating systems that they pipe hot water into your house. It was very new in Ireland, but there was back in 2005, 6, 7, there was a push towards that area. The Greens were in power at the time and sustainability and the Green agenda was kind of on the agenda, if you like. And so we decided between the two of us that we would have a go at setting up our own kind of business.
Talk to us about Enerpower's current service offering and the client base that you work with.
Okay. At present, Carl, we're providing solar PV, that's solar voltaic, biomass boilers, which are wood chip, wood pellet powered, wind turbines and heat pumps. So a heat pump, again, is another device for heating water. It's a very efficient device. It takes 1 kilowatt of electricity and gives out 3 kilowatts of heat. So those are the main kind of products that we do. And the customers that we're servicing with those products at the moment are customers like Eli Lilly, Tesco, Lidl, Dunnes Stores, BWG Foods, which would own the Spar franchise. We'd also have MSD, Mark Sharp and Dome, Pfizer, Keypack would be meat producing guys, Microsoft, Amazon. And to bring it closer to home, I suppose, here in County Waterford, Arkeen Stores is a very famous store here in Waterford that provides kind of artisan foods. Flavins bake the porridge and other products out in Kilmac Thomas. We were doing a lot of work with those. Grantstown Nurseries here in Waterford would be a tomato growing operation. As well as those, talking about tomatoes, Horswood Nurseries down in Horswood near Campile in County Wexford would be another tomato growing operation that we would have a biomass boiler in down there.
What advice do you have for any business owner listening to this morning's show that's considering putting in a wind turbine or a biomass boiler or indeed solar photovoltaic panels?
You have to be very careful and to make sure you know what you're buying. When you're buying solar panels, for instance, you're buying an asset that has a lifespan of up to 30 years. So you need to think about that. What's this product going to look like in 20 years' time? Is it still going to function in 20 years' time? Is the company that's selling the product to me still going to be around in 20 years' time to honour their warranty? So these things are very important, that you are dealing with reputable companies that actually have a track record and that can, if in the event of a problem, are there to be able to support you.
In terms of the rise in energy costs recently, there must never have been such a demand for renewable energy products.
Yes, that's correct. Our phone is ringing quite a bit with people looking for solutions to rising energy costs. But I suppose people still have to be realistic about what renewable energy can achieve. Like, some people have the notion that by putting solar panels on your roof, you completely do away with your electricity bill, which is not correct. The same way as if you put a wind turbine in your facility, you do away with electricity bill, which is not correct, because the wind doesn't always blow. And with solar panels, it's not always daylight. Solar panels don't necessarily need sunlight. They are sun. They need daylight. But obviously there's more daylight in the summer than there is in the winter. So you can see, and there's none at night time. So you can see there, you need to be realistic. Typically, we're talking in around, we can meet 25% of someone's demand using a wind turbine or solar panels, up to 25%. Obviously, with biomass boilers, we can provide all 100% of the heat with a biomass boiler, because we're actually using a material to burn, and we can have that on 24/7 if we need to have it on. But in terms of wind and solar, it's a little bit different. You need to be realistic about what these technologies can achieve. Now, another technology that we're also working with is batteries. And using batteries, you can probably increase the amount of renewable energy you can utilize at your site, because you can generate more than you need during the day or during when the wind is blowing, and then store some of that excess in a battery and then give it back in the off-peak time for generation.
And of course, we're hearing lots about the residential market and the grants available for them from SEAI through their national retrofitting scheme. But what grants are available through SEAI for businesses that want to go down the road of investing in renewable technologies such as solar PV?
Okay, so you have the BEC system, which is Better Energy Community Scheme. You also have the Exceed scheme, which is another scheme that it takes slightly longer. You're probably talking about a 1 year to 18 months process in that, where they look at everything in the business regarding energy efficiency. BEC probably would take a little bit shorter. It's maybe 6 months of an application process to get there. Both systems provide in around 25 to 30% of a capital investment. In terms of biomass, you have an SSRH, which is a support scheme for renewable heat. Now, this is a very interesting scheme in that it provides funding for the project for 15 years after you install it. And it's based on every kilowatt hour of fossil fuel generated heat that you displace using biomass, you get a tariff paid back to you for that. It's on the same lines as the RHI, the renewable heat incentive that was in the UK and in Northern Ireland, but it got some bad publicity in Northern Ireland. But here in Ireland, we have the scheme now operational, and they're looking for people to participate in it. So anybody with a commercial, like hotel, guest house, factory, any sort of organisation using significant amount of heat, and if you're using oil or gas, the support scheme for renewable heat, SSRH, is definitely something you should look at. They are over the 15 years of the scheme, depending on what size of organisation you are. There's up to €600,000 available to individuals over 15 years.
And Owen, I'm hearing that there's some changes after being made to the Better Energy Communities programme in recent times. Can you shed any light on those for us?
Yes, I suppose they're more of an audit-based system now, that we have to conduct an audit of the site to identify energy saving or energy efficiency opportunities. And then these opportunities, this register of opportunities, need to be classified into categories, and then we start with the most important and move towards the least important ones. So that's one change that's in the BEC programme. And also the BEC programme now used to only run every year, but I think it's a rolling scheme now, where they're going to be opening it a number of times during the year, rather than traditionally it would have only opened in December, closed in January, and it wouldn't reopen again for application until the following December.
And Owen, Enerpower are also in a position to provide some clients with power purchase agreements. How do they work?
Okay, so if you're a client, Enerpower can come in and invest energy or invest money into developing an asset for you, be it a solar farm or a wind turbine, and then you pay Enerpower back for every kilowatt hour of energy or electricity that system generates over a contracted period.
And Owen, finally, are there any emerging trends in relation to renewable energy, or indeed any new technologies coming on stream that people need to be aware of?
I suppose now with the rapidly rising cost of electricity, like battery technology now is, I suppose, the next technology that seems to be coming along. That will be definitely one that should be looked at. Heat pumps are a technology as well that the government and SEAI are really in favour of promoting, and they can work in domestic situations, they can work in commercial, industrial installations. You need to be careful though when you're choosing to go with a heat pump that your installation is suitable for it. Not every installation is suitable for it, but you would need to go and look at it. But definitely the technology is well worth looking at, and if people have questions on it, try and go to, there's a number of different reputable companies in the market with heat pumps for a number of years in Ireland that could be able to provide, including ourselves, that would be able to provide sound advice on what will work in different situations.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Owen Power from Enerpower, and we wish Owen and the team continued success with their business.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
South